Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill and I am so excited to bring you today's new RV. We are looking at a brand new model that you have likely never seen before. This is the new Superstar. My name is Katie O'Neill. You can always find me at 303-562-8659. Again, 303-562-8659. I come to you live every Monday from Transwest Truck Trailer RV here in Frederick, Colorado, not just to provide you information, but to help you buy your coach. I'm an actual sales associate and I do this to make my living, and I've got to tell you, this is quite an exciting day. So I am sitting inside of a brand new shower surround. So on the 2026 Superstar, it's now available on the M2-112 chassis. This is a 41-foot, 8-inch long coach, and it has a really fantastic... Oh. Tell me what I need to do, Jody. I'm good. Okay, Jody's giving me behind-the-scenes instructions, folks. By the way, if you don't know my cameraman, he is the best. We've been having mic issues all day, so if you do notice that we fade in and out, our apologies. We're doing our best to come to you live, crystal clear. But this new shower surround is such a cool thing. As you can see, I still have my teak bench, but I've got a different layout here. So for instance, this little soap holder here has a compartment where I can keep my shampoo and conditioner without having to worry about it falling out down the road. The other difference here is going to be in our shower head. So I still have my rain shower and my removable wand. And I also have my aquamizer system. Now, of course, this coach has a 150-gallon freshwater tank. It has a 60-gallon gray water tank and a 40-gallon black water tank, which means that you're likely to run out of gray water before you run out of water. What's awesome about this coach is because of the aquamizer system, I simply turn this on to recycle. It heats up that tank in the background underneath, can keep the coach a little bit warmer underneath as well. It gets that 150 gallons nice and piping hot, and then when I turn it on, I start to fill that gray water tank, so I'm not wasting space. Another great feature and change here you'll notice in the Vanity. So we've removed the overhang here, which is really cool actually. For those of you that want to have a toothbrush, electronic toothbrush, maybe a nice little decorative plant, some tissue, whatever it is out here on the counter, there's plenty of room, and there's 110 outlets on either side, as well as carpet-lined shelving here in the rear. All of this cabinetry is the sable maple hardwood in the suede finish. It is all solid wood, so this is a very solid coach. This format boasts a ton of closet space, not only hanging space, but also some nice covert, hiding spaces if you want to keep anything stowed down there. And then, for instance, the safe. For people who have been looking to see the safe open, I'll go ahead and open that for you now. As you can see, it's got a little place to hang some keys, plenty of room for all of your gold bars and your diamonds. But this safe is mounted, much like that of the other things in this coach, to the aluminum subframe of this coach. So this is built with 16 on center wood frame, or I'm sorry, aluminum framing. What that means to you as a consumer is absolutely lightweight, great rigidity, and strength for a very, very long enduring coach. So just like you would see on a house with 16 on center framing with those big 2x4s, this has aluminum C-channel, so a much lighter composite, and also it has holes perforated every inch or so all the way up the channel on both sides, allowing us to run wiring through it. And then we use batt insulation just like you would see on your house. What that does for you as a consumer is it gives you a much lighter weight construction. It gives you the ability to wire things seamlessly without having so much bulky overhead and different storage throughout the coach. And it also gives you a rigidity where you can actually set your aluminum windows inside of the frame, so they're welded in place, just like that safe is welded into place in the rear of this coach. So it's a really big deal. Another really big deal about this coach is the floor. So this subfloor is over 3 inches thick. As you can see, this is the new porcelain wood plank tile that we have. This is a heated zone here in the bathroom. And this is, again, giving you that insulative property that doesn't only give you, less creaks, less rattles going down the road, a cooler coach in the summer, a warmer coach in the winter, but it also gives you a quieter coach going down the road, which is a really nice feature. And in this bathroom, one of my favorite things is the separation of space. So as you get into these coaches, the Super C has a lot of engine up front. It adds a lot of convenience, a lot of safety, but it also takes away some of the living space. So this great construction that you see here with all of this drawer space would allow you to get ready in the morning without even having to go into the master bathroom or master bedroom, because you could keep all of your clothes in this smaller space, including your nice fresh towels, because you've got a stackable washer and dryer. And then one of my favorite things about this floor plan is right here, this nice big drawer. So you can keep all of your sheets and linens in here, extra blankets. Over here you could keep all of your towels. And then behind me over here, I have a robe hook. And then I have an egress door, so loading and unloading this coach is also going to be very easy. I could actually drop all of my linens out at the end of my camping trip, load them all back in. Most of the time, to be honest with you, by the time we get home in our Superstar, I already have the laundry all done. It's really easy to use a Splendid stackable washer and dryer. We use it quite regularly. If you've got questions about it, always feel free to reach out. I can give you a little feedback. The Dometic, of course, is on a nice push button. Mine is almost impossible to see at night, so it's really nice that they actually have these glowy buttons. It makes it a little easier to operate. And then you've got these touch panels throughout the coach, so you'll be able to operate things like your heated floor. You can turn your fans on and off. This coach is going to have a fantastic fan in the bedroom. I'm sorry, in the bathroom here, in the center bath, and as well in the kitchen. Here in the bedroom, you'll see hidden away underneath here is all of our ductwork for our centrally ducted air conditioning unit. We have two 15,000 BTU air conditioners on this coach, and we also have heat pumps. So with that hydronic heating system for the shower, you also get an 8-gallon reservoir that heats hydronic fluid, and the dual loop Chinook pumps that fluid out of that reservoir in two different directions underneath the coach, giving you forced air heat. So really good air conditioning, really good heat pumps, in-floor electric heating in a 3-zone configuration, as well as your heat pumps overhead. So a lot of different ways to stay nice and warm in the winter. Up here above this bedroom, you'll see we've got two 110 outlets over here. This coach can be synced to your Newmar app, so you can control a lot of it with your phone, but if you don't have those controls with you, you can turn on your security lights, turn on and off the coach lights, all there underneath with just the touch of a button. And then here on either side of the 72 by 80 RV king bed, you'll see that we have some nice nightstands. I'm going to go ahead and lift this up so you can see the storage. But I also want to point out a new feature again for 2026. So this is a nice soft pillow top mattress. It does not have any carpet underneath the bed any longer. We also do not have any carpet in the bedroom any longer. We've gone to this great vinyl material that's very easy to keep clean, and it's really kind of revolutionized this coach. It's something that's been a long time coming. In my coach, I have this same full wall slide, and you'll see I've got the same kitchen layout, but Jody will sit a pan over here to underneath the kitchen sink, and you'll see this vinyl here is such a nice addition to this coach, because underneath your cooking area, you no longer have to worry about having carpet. I do have carpet there, so I put a little throw towel, or not throw towel, but kitchen rug, but it would be nice to have this vinyl material. Now back to this bedroom, this full wall slide gives you a ton of room. So in these big wardrobes, in addition to the one that you have in the back, you've got 5 more drawers underneath. 3 are really, really large. As you can see, they come all the way out past the wardrobe. So plenty of room here for all of your jeans or maybe your heavier duty materials. We do a lot of cycling when we're out on the road, so bike kits could definitely fit in these drawers. And then here we have our telematics cabinet. as well as another drawer down below. Now the telematics cabinet is an interesting conversation point these days. This coach can have a traveler system on it with dish or DirecTV. It could have a large Starlink on top, or a smaller residential sized Starlink. We could also put ports underneath to run Starlink underneath. So this smart TV is one of those televisions where you could download, Fubo and Paramount and have everything that you need, or Netflix, whatever your choices are. Or you could have, I'm installing a traveler system on an Essex that I sold this week. So I'm installing the DirecTV traveler system because that's how they watch TV at home. So you can really set up this coach in any way you want, which is a really nice feature these days. You're no longer relegated to having to commit to a cable system. You can choose different formats for your Wi-Fi. You could have the Ranger. So it's very important to work with somebody who understands all of the different ways to implement things, because depending on how you're using your coach, there's a right answer for you as well. Now, one of my favorite features in my Superstar is just this. I love the fact that I can open this window, put my box fan there, and have fresh air circulating on the inside of my coach. It's not so much the air that matters, because I do have the ventilated windows on either side of my headboard. The big thing for me is just that noise. I like that sound of the fan droning in the background, especially when someone's starting up their motorcycle or their truck early in the morning, maybe taking off for a day trip, whatever it may be. Just nice to have a little background noise so that I don't hear others around me. Now I wanted to show you here, these are the choices that we have for 2026 for the interiors. So you've got 5 exterior choices. The coach that we're looking at today is a special paint exterior, so it's not any of the standard paint choices that you could choose from. But these are your 3 interior choices. The one that you're looking at is the Solano. We have it with the sable maple suede wood interior. You could also choose the Mesa, or you could choose the chestnut, and you could choose any of these 3 in combination with the chiffon if you wanted to have the white cabinets on top and the darker cabinets down below, or you could do an all chiffon as well. So it's very similar in the exterior and interior segment in that they have 4 choices, and then you can also do an all white. So that Blanco exterior is what I have on my Superstar. It's still available this year. Again, 4 other exterior graphic patterns. But keep in mind, this coach for less than $3,000 was custom painted specifically to look like this. So it's giving you a very, very different look. This coach, you will not likely ever see a twin of it out on the campground. And it's really kind of fun if you've got a company or just an affinity for a coach that you saw in the past that you really like. I'm more than happy to help you not only customize the exterior, but also the interior of this coach. I do a lot of custom interiors as well. And that's really important to understand. Newmar is very flexible. They really try to provide a product that doesn't only function, very well if you ordered it from just the book in the standard configuration, but they also want to give you the ability to customize these coaches, because these coaches are bulletproof. They're going to last a really long time. We want to make sure they're everything you were hoping for the day that you take them home. Now here we have the Whirlpool refrigerator. This is something that we've seen historically. It's the same refrigerator I have on my 2022. As you can see, nice deep freezer. It does have an ice maker, and the Superstar does have an exterior freezer available. It's a smaller freezer. So if you want to have one with a larger freezer, I can help you make arrangements for that, but it's something that we would definitely want to address before the coach arrived at the dealership. Now here you've got your meat and cheese drawer, a place for your vegetables and fruit, your Prosecco shelf, so that if you're going to go hiking before you come back to finish off those mimosas, keep them nice and cold. This little tilt guy is super handy for anyone who's ever got those big bottles of mayonnaise and mustard and ketchup. And then, as I mentioned earlier, a fantastic fan here in the rear bathroom, and then also in this bathroom. So this is a bath and a half coach. You've got a mid-door entry, you've got the rear egress door, you have the 2 front doors. So for people who have big dogs, for instance, this is a great coach because you can actually let them in and out without having to have them come in front of your chair. Now here in the center cabinet, you'll see that we have our breaker panel. One thing I like to point out during these videos is how nicely labeled everything is, how clean and neat the wiring is done. I think this is a true testimony to Newmar. I mean, just a nice solid wood panel here, nothing chintzy, no plywood, nice thick doors. And on the Northern Star and the Superstar, which now share a platform, you got these great shaker doors. So very streamlined, very simple. There's a ton of storage in this coach. Honestly, it's quite amazing that they have so much storage available on a 41-foot floor plan. And again, if I didn't say it earlier, there's a 4059 and a 4159. The difference in the Superstar is if you have a Superstar with a 4059, it's going to be the M2-106 chassis. This is an M2-112 chassis. So both of these coaches are built on the M2 chassis. The 106 and 112 are going to be the differentiation you have in the length. So this coach is going to be 41 feet 8 inches long versus 40 feet 10 inches long. And the reason that is because this coach, is opposed to having a M2-106, it's got 6 extra inches of hood length, if you will. And what we're able to do is take that 8.9 liter ISL that would run in the 106 chassis, 360 horsepower with 1,150 foot-pounds of torque. The M2-112 chassis can hold that same engine, but by giving it an extra little boost, if you will, of breathability, we can bring that horsepower output up to 450 horsepower with 1,250 foot-pounds of torque. Now keep in mind, we're still going to have that same great 20,000 pound towing capacity in this coach, but as I mentioned, it's just a little bit longer, so 41 feet 8 inches for those of you that have garage limitations. Now as you can see here, speaking of limitations, lots of elbow room, lots of room in this coach, and then one of my favorite features is that it has a full length mirror right here so that we can catch a great bird's eye view of my best cameraman ever. Are you in the shot? He's not in the shot, he's shaking his head. Look at that. Oh, I bet you I got him. I did. It's a constant battle with us too. Okay, so back to the Galley. Take a look at all the counter space you have here. You'll notice we also have our new Whirlpool, not only microwave and convection oven, but also air fryer. That's right, air fryer. That's why you got this little fry basket. When you take out all of these trays, you've got plenty of room in here if you wanted to put in a clay pot to bake chicken. It's a great idea. If you've never seen the Romanoff clay pots, shoot me a text and I'll get you the information on those. And then here we always have our cutting boards integrated into our solid surface countertops, and we have our true induction cooktop, which is not only removable, but you can take it outside, use it to make your eggs at exactly 360 degrees, no matter your altitude. You also, with true induction, because it's magnetic, don't have to worry about a few different things. First of all, if I put a paper towel down on this cooktop and I wanted to boil water, at altitude I would be about a third of the time if I put this on the maximum, like it has 1 through 5 or it has a degrees setting. But if I put on the maximum heat, I could boil water for my French press at about half the time, whether I was inside or outside, without that paper towel catching on fire. So a great fire prevention measure, and also a great cooking benefit. If you're cooking up at altitude and it's a little breezy, not having enough air in your flame and that propane outdoor, outdoor cooktop that you're using can really hamper how hot your pan is getting. With this true induction cooktop, you plug it in outside, put it on top of your picnic table, and you can get those eggs exactly the way you want them. You get your bacon nice and crispy really, really easily. It's just a great, great cooktop. I liked it so much I actually put one in my house. So same silverware drawer. They call this a molded plastic silverware drawer. I think that's quite funny, but yes, it's a molded plastic silverware drawer. You'll notice that we have things like our Bose sound controller, both inside and outside, for our wireless speaker, and then we also have all of the TV controls. This coach boasts a 50-inch smart TV inside in the front, a 43 in the bedroom, and then another one outside And the outdoor TV for 2026 is now standard, so you don't have to opt in for that any longer. This is optional though. So for those of you that want to have a dishwasher on the roof, before we hit the road, but it's really convenient to keep that off of the counter, so when you're doing your dishes, you don't actually have to worry about having a place to store everything, because you can have them drying underneath. And then up above here, you'll see we've got tons of cabinet space. This is where I keep all of my olive oil and my balsamic vinegar. I don't know how you would set your kitchen up, but I pretty much have exactly the same kitchen layout. Difference for me, I do have a bunk model. This is available in a bunk model. It's also available in what's called a 4061, which would be a mid-bath unit without the rear bath and a much longer kitchen area. This little extendable guy is actually quite handy, especially for salsa and guacamole. And then as you can see here underneath, you've got this little receptacle. I actually cut a larger trash can down and I keep it here in the center. And I use this guy in our bathroom. I use the scrubby drawer. Oh, there we go. It's always, when they're new, it's a little stiff, but I use my scrubby drawer a ton. And then all of the drawer space. So nice to have a place to keep your spatulas, your tongs, all of your bottle openers, your hot pads. Everything that you need can have its own little location up here. So lots of room here in the kitchen. And then you have this beautiful spray and pour feature on your faucet set here. And as you can see, a nice deep stainless steel undermount sink. Now this is a nice change. In my coach, I have 2 stainless steel sinks. I love the dark gunmetal look to this. It matches the Whirlpool microwave very well. But more importantly, you can choose to have larger or smaller items in that sink. I am relegated to the size that I have. This is definitely a nice upgrade for this coach. The optional window behind is set next to a beautiful, nice subway tile. As you can see, everything on this coach is super streamlined. Very, I wouldn't say that it's modern. It's also not classic. It's just a nice neutral backdrop. I think this is a very timeless look. Very good move on Newmar's part to not be so ostentatious or so frozen in time, if you will. I get into some of these older Newmars or Tiffins and I'm like, wow, I feel like I'm like stuck in the 1980s. This is a great look because I think it's a very timeless look. Again, these shaker cabinets are super solid. There's a ton of room up here. You can see your window coverings. So on this coach, I will tell you, in mine we use a nice Mylar backed Freightliner product for this front windshield. And then with that, we put the curtains up. I think that the Mylar backed windshield that they're giving you in 2026 is such a great advantage because really when you have a curtain, it's keeping the dark, you know, in the coach, but it's not keeping the heat out. You really save a lot of temperature by putting something Mylar backed onto this window. And so as you can see now, we no longer have the snap-on curtain the whole way around. We still have our horn. It kind of made a little squeak at first, huh, Jody? It's kind of a ninny. Oh, shoot. I have my back area open. We'll cover this. Well, I guess we won't be able to cover it. Oh, someone just honked at me. But so I love the way that they've split the screen. Historically, I've added like a second Voyager camera up here so that I would be able to actually see behind me while watching my navigational directions. But now with this split screen, I can do both. As you can see, we've got Type-C USB connections now, as well as the 12 volt. Our generators start still up here. All of our light testing, our dock lights, turning our regen off is right here. Locking our rear diff, our ability to dump our rear airbags so that we can get our tow vehicle loaded. All these things are still here, like you saw on the new M2-112 Plus chassis when it was released in 2024. So very similar dash configuration. For those of you who didn't catch it, going to a stock control gave us the ability to have our engine brake like this, And then reverse, drive, and neutral are just a twist away, like so. So that's very handy. You still have your big air brake here, but you'll also notice that there's an A here for not only your automatic headlights, but also automatic high beam control. And then you still have power mirrors and the heated mirrors, as well as power windows and power locks on this coach. And in true Newmar tradition, of course, we have power baggage locks underneath as well, which for those of you who've never experienced having to go through and key each individual lock when you get to your rainy campsite, having power baggage door locks where you can just hit unlock and everything's open so you can dash out without having to fiddle with your keys. It's a really big advantage. The other big advantage on the Newmar product is that not only do you have a doorbell on the headset or the handset coming into the coach, you can lock and unlock the coach doors and baggage doors from that handset outside. Now, I know we're not looking at it. That's because it's like 98 degrees outside. We had a lot of mic issues, as I mentioned earlier today, so we're starting late and it's already really hot. So I'll show it to you, but I'm not going to talk about it a lot outside. So as you can see, the air ride seats do swivel. They do turn around. Up above these seats, you see all of this great storage. When you are camping, everybody can have their own little compartment. I get this one. If you find my AirPods, you put them in here. If you find my charging cable, you put it in here. If you find my phone, you put it in there. It's just really nice to be able to compartmentalize. And I give each one of my kids has their own little spot. So when I find their stuff strewn throughout the coach, I can put it underneath and then they know where to find it. So still I can't find a hair tie. It's probably in one of the compartments. Now on that note, you'll notice that we do have our JBL, as you saw probably that subwoofer back there. So dare to listen, we've got a nice sound system in here. And then over here, you'll see that we have our Noogle, Newmar, Freightliner, and Newmar hotlines. I want to talk a little bit about that. So one of the benefits of buying a Newmar is that not only do you have Newmar technical support that you can call if you've got an issue. You've got Freightliner, which you can also call if you have an issue. As we all know, there's a ton of big semi-truck shops across the country. This is an M2-112 chassis Freightliner medium duty truck, so very easy to get into a Freightliner service department. But most importantly, we have a gentleman by the name of Bill Habercorn, and if you haven't bought a coach from a place that doesn't have a good support network, you may not understand this, but I'll tell you, for my clients that have come in that have never worked with someone like Bill Habercorn in the past, he is second to none. It's so nice to have a dedicated technician who responds to your issues while you're on the road so that you don't just have to rely on Newmar or Freightliner to get questions answered. You can also call into us, and that's something that only comes when you purchase your store underneath the Transwest umbrella. Another feature that we offer that's very unique is the fact that after you take delivery of your coach, you can go camping right down here. You'll see there's probably 4 or 5 coaches down there. Mine's that great big white one with a huge cattle guard in the front. I'm waiting to get my coach serviced, kind of midsummer update. I've been doing a lot of camping, so I'm going to get it serviced before I go camping in Creed with our Newmar group in September. But all of the ability to not only come in here, spend your orientation time with Marlon, learn how to operate your coach, make videos if you'd like to, but the ability to then take your product, plug it into our 50 amp on site, on campus, have your questions answered, and run through everything. Run your washer and dryer, run your dishwasher, try your hydronic heat, test out your floors. Make sure you know how to use everything before you leave our campus so that you can actually feel comfortable when you hit the forest for the first time. And another feature is not only can you do that on the day of delivery, but we also offer camping as an on-site service for both house and, yes, we have a full-fledged chassis shop here on site at Frederick, Colorado's location, where you can get your oil changes done, you can get your generator serviced, and then you can come over and get your air conditioning unit serviced. You can get your Oasis unit serviced. So being able to get everything done on one campus with a place where you can actually camp in your coach while you're having your service done is something you just don't find everywhere. So the support that it takes, the staffing that it requires, is provided to us by the Idness family who owns Transwest. And there's not a better company to buy your coach from. I hate to tell you this, I've heard so many stories, and there's no one who supports their team as well as George and Barb support us. All of that being said, here is this big, beautiful black rainbow. This is something that separates and doesn't separate, right? So this separates us from the rest of the industry. We are the only RV made as a Super C that has a floating cab. In other words, this air ride cab is not attached or welded in place to the house here. So if we're going over bumpy terrain, like we have a lot of course, on those road trips cross country, the back of this coach can go ahead and wiggle and waggle as much as it wants. I'm going to stay nice and steady up here in the front of my coach. So this is a very nice feature of this coach. This is not new for 2026. This is how all Superstars are constructed. Now, new for 2026, I'll show you. So everyone's seeing these fantastic theater seats. I think starting in about 2023, they started tailing in these little corners here so they didn't stick out so much. But in 2026, they gave us a hard surface here. And what's so cool about this is now you can put your glass of wine down. You can put your Prosecco glass down without having to worry about it tipping over, or your salsa and chips, and you still have all of the storage here underneath. So all of your throw blankets, you can stash your remotes up here on top just like you used to be able to, but a nice solid surface here in between your theater seats. Now keep in mind, there's some cool optional seating. This could be a trifold bed, so you could have a sofa that actually had a hide-a-bed that pulled out. Over here, this is the extra sleeping on this coach. This is going to be a convertible booth dinette. What's nice about this is if you wanted to put this table down, you could do this, put the table all the way down and underneath the cushion here, and you could have a rear-facing car seat anchored in and facing, well, legally you have to, when they're in the rear-facing car seats, they have to be facing from the front to the back. You still have your seatbelts over here in the theater seats, so you'd have a total of 5 seatbelts in this coach, but really nice that you could have the rear-facing car seat in this coach, so if you do happen to have another little, while you're in the middle of your camping escapades, you can keep on going down the road. You'll also note that we have a ton of storage. This is where I keep all my plates, all my bowls. On this side, I keep my napkins and my placemats. And then behind us, as you can see, this has got that same beautiful setup we've always had. Again, these nice shaker cabinets that are now shared with the Northern Star are much less. Well, you'll see it if you look at a Supreme Air video now. You'll see when you look at that Ventana interior, it's a little more opulent. This is a very, very streamlined interior. The other thing I love about this coach is this porcelain floor. So this flooring, historically we've always pulled the floors from the King Air, the porcelain wood floors from the King Air. The King Air porcelain wood floors this year, I don't like as much as I like the ones that we have in the Superstar and the Northern Star. So if I'm custom ordering a coach for you, keep in mind, that's one of the things I really pay a lot of attention to. I like to pay attention to backsplashes. I like to pay attention to flooring. You can really save a lot of money by custom ordering your coach exactly the way you want it. And it's really important to work with somebody who's done a lot of custom orders, because if you don't know, you don't know. And there can be a lot of things that you can miss. That can be the difference between you buying your coach once or buying it once, figuring out what you didn't do right, and then buying it a second time. That's a big money savings. Let me just see over here. I want to go ahead and put the TV up. So we've got outlets on either side of the window there. And then to put the TV up, let's go ahead, just go TV lift. Again, so many different opportunities for Wi-Fi and telematics, but nothing beats a really nice 50-inch flat screen that pops out of your dinette area. It's a great way to be able to catch a movie and also to get it out of the way when you want to see that beautiful view. So really love this format with Newmar. As I mentioned earlier, there's your wireless sound bar, your overhead storage compartments here. This is a great place for you to keep your Starlink stuff. You could also keep, your PlayStation. Somebody actually wrote back the other day and told me what PlayStation number we were on, which I thought was kind of funny because I just can't keep up. I mentioned earlier, if you have a big dog, one of the nicest features of this coach is that not only do they have 2 ways to get in and out of the front of the coach, they also have this mid entrance, but you can also cover this so you don't have to worry about them falling down while you're on the road, because you don't want your puppy to, you know, fall into the stepwell while you're going down the road. That would be bad. Now, while we're up here in this cabin, let's just talk about some differences for 25 versus 26. So in 2025, we no longer have any HWH on this coach. We've gone to all equalizer, smaller leveling system, still hydraulic, but a different step and a different 4-point leveling jack. Also, you'll notice that you'll see the BMS battery power on and off switch. That is because this coach has 2 Victron inverters, 3,000 watt Victron inverters, not 1, 2, and it has the ability, because it's got a lithium Onyx 640 amp hour battery, to run the central air conditioning without having your generator on going down the road. So for those of you that are going to go down into Scottsdale in the summer, they're going to go down, you know, and take the kids to Walt Disney World, you know, and Epcot Center, and it's humid and hot, being able to have your central air conditioning running without having your generator running is a fantastic new advantage of this M2-112 chassis. Now up here we still have our good old-fashioned in and outs. So Jody, if you want to, I don't know where you want to stand to catch this action, but we're bringing these slides in. And the reason I'm doing this is because this has been such a revolutionary floor plan for Newmar. They originally had a 4051 and they came out with a 4059. And honestly, that bathroom in the back with all of that separate drawer space, this really nice alcove that you have with the kitchen, in the cutout, the big cover here. If you have a big dog, this is so much room that you have here, and this is as narrow as it gets. So as you can see, you can get through here really easily to access the restroom. So this bath and a half model has so much nice access, and you can even access your pantry completely when you're going down the road. Now, because this is the 4159, it has an extra drawer. So usually you've got 6 push to release drawers. On this coach, you've got 7. But what a great thing. I mean, if you wanted to keep like your doggy dishes down here, maybe your pet food, your leashes, everything right there next to the exit of the coach, super handy to be able to do so. Did I mention that this is a convection oven and air fryer? So we've done this video twice now. If I repeat myself, it's only because I don't remember what happened. No, so sometimes when you do videos twice, you forget things. So I might say something 2 times, but I'll try not to forget at least once. So as I mentioned earlier, that power lock is going to be on a key fob, but it's also right here. Very handy to have. This is that step cover once again, and you can lock your steps to the outside. We also have the big Girard awnings. I put them out twice. They've actually come in from wind sensors twice, so we're not going to bother again. But they are really long. This is the optional awning set. They're long. They're the full length of the coach. And one of the best things about having 2 awnings is that if you have a tree, you know, in one portion where you couldn't put your awning out if it was singular, you can actually choose which awning to put out. Now you'll notice up here, Superstar is all blacked out. That's because this has got the Onyx package. So the Onyx package changes out not only the labeling throughout the coach, but also the backs of the mirrors, the bumpers, and then you also have these really cool black painted rims. So these Alcoa rims are not the American X racing wheels. These are actually Alcoa rims in a black set. The reason I mentioned American X is because American X, of course, is used by Renegade. Now, as you can see here, even the bumper here, the grille is painted black. So everything is blacked out in the Onyx package, and even the surrounds around the lights. So really nice attention to detail. As you can see here, we have that 8.9 liter ISL married to this beautiful Freightliner chassis. If anyone talks to you about the front airbags on the Super C, they don't know what they're talking about. It's got a springly suspension. Just call me instead. You wouldn't believe how many times I've got people who are like asking me about air leveling, and I'm like, really? Anyway, if you don't know, you don't know. But when you know the difference, you buy your coach from me. Before I close this, let me just show you the other side. Only reason, you know, like I said, I wanted to show you the full length of, or the full gambit of this. First of all, look at how easy it is to access everything underneath this coach. This is a really great feature, including your jump point. So there's a negative and a positive there. If you get to a point where you don't have enough juice in both your chassis and house batteries, you can jump this coach very easily, and it's done from outside underneath the vehicle. Now the 360 camera, as you can see, is mounted right here in front of me. You'll also note that I have the emergency braking system. This does not have automated cruise control. For anybody who tells you that anything that comes on a Freightliner chassis with the Detroit Assurance package, if anyone tells you that it has automatic cruise control, unless it's paired with the Detroit transmission and a Detroit engine, it is not automatic cruise control. That coach over there, the Supreme Air, that coach has automatic cruise control. It's got a 12-speed Detroit transmission. It's got a DD13 or a DD16, depending on which of the Cascadia chassis you have. That's how you get your distance-based cruise control. This coach does have cruise control, but it's not distance-based. So I get that question a lot. It's very important that we're clear on that. This little switch here is so that you can keep those air seats. It's basically like an outdoor air pump, so you can keep those air seats pumped up even when you're stopped at a campsite. You don't really need to have it turned on unless you're parked. And then over here, as you can see, really nice storage throughout this coach. And I love this paint job. Whoever picked this paint scheme, I cannot take credit for this coach. I did not build it. If I had it, would probably have two-tone cabinets with sable, though. I love sable. But whoever built it, this is fantastic. Even on this Onyx package, your doorbell is painted black. And then, as I mentioned earlier, fantastic storage. Now, of course, because there's a drive shaft coming from the engine all the way through to the back of this coach, you do not have pass-through storage in the middle. We will have a little bit in the back. There's your flat screen TV. And you'll notice up here, there's not only the fresh tank drain, but there's a little tube coming down here. That is because we actually have a drain on top of the coach that comes through and drains out of the guarded upper area. So you'll see up here, these are the awnings on top. They have nice LED lights that can give you patio lighting when they're in or when they're out. But you'll see it looks very similar on the opposite side, although there are no awnings on that side of the coach. Now you do have, of course, the slide out covers on all of the slides, as you can see here. But those awnings are mimicked on the other side because everything is cloistered inside on a Newmar. So Jody, I know I had you turn around again, but this is a great opportunity. If you take a look at this Newmar Supreme Air, and then just to the right of it, there's a few Veronas and Valencias, and you can see all of those air conditioners up there on top, sticking up, all those telematics sticking up. That is definitely one of the benefits of the Newmar product, is that you don't have to worry about those having so much wind, rain, you know, hail coming at them when you're driving down the road. They're in kind of a nice little protected bubble, if you will. And since those things are expensive to maintain, it's nice to know that they're safe. So there's the back side of your porcelain tile. There's probably 4 or 5 pieces there just in case you need to have them replaced. And then one of the features that they changed in 2025 is they started making this so that you could actually pull your breaker box out to have access to it. And one thing I want to point out, little things like making this so that you don't need to have a screwdriver to be able to open and close this compartment. You know, when things are going around wrong, the last thing you need to do is try to find your tool set. So being able to access this, pull it out, and then also to be able to access it without having to have any kind of tools with you is really handy. You'll see the downsizer here. The reason we have a downsizer, especially for those of you that are not used to this size of a hitch, this is a big hitch. So that downsizes you to a 2-inch hitch. And of course, here we have the release. There's that pass-through storage we were talking about there. So if you do have, you know, any kind of fishing pole, maybe hockey sticks, I don't know, whatever it is that you happen to be into. For us, we use our paddleboard paddles. We actually keep those up here along with a long table. I'd love to tell you that we always use this for top shelf. It's a really good idea. You know, all the Patron, Belvedere up here, mixers, and then all your snacks and chips. We really do have quite a few, like power cords, tire shine, hydronic fluid, all of that's back here in this gear garage. But this is a very handy space here. As I mentioned, big hitch, 20,000 pound towing capacity. You do have your 7-pin connector. If you are gonna flat tow with this unit, you will need to have your airline and ping tank installed on this. And this dealership is not only outfitted to upfit your tow vehicle, you know, whether it be an F-150, a Jeep, a Chevy, whatever it is that you have. Not only were you able to put that base plate on your coach, but we can also install your airline and ping tank. But beyond that, we actually have a dedicated specialist that works at our different organizations. So we own a Jeep store, we own a Ford store, we own a Chevy store, we have a Ram store. So those stores, you can actually work with a dedicated specialist that will help you to identify what would be the best flat tow opportunity for you. And if you buy that unit from one of our stores and then have your Air Force One system installed here at the store, you save $500 on the labor of that install, which is a nice feature. So there's that camera that was being blocked. You can just see the top of that rear brake light in that camera when I had it up earlier. And then back here, you'll notice that we have our reversible ball mount and a ton of storage. And this is a great opportunity to see the STAR Foundation. So STAR Foundation stands for strong, true, and robust. So the foundation of this coach, of course, is that Freightliner chassis, but it's really important to remember that the way that Newmar assembles their foundation, by raising that chassis up off of the chassis rails and giving you that very robust STAR foundation, that is what's changing the drive characteristic of this coach. And it's really what's making you not only the extra basement storage room, but also that nicer ride going down the road. So here is your Blackwater or Graywater gravity hose storage. Here is your water bay. You'll see that we have a clear water housing on our whole house water filter this year. Your fresh water supply hose is on a power reel. You do have hot and cold water outside. And again, for those of you that are boondocking, if you haven't considered asking me to help you build a coach that has SantaCon, I would encourage you to do so, because it really does change the road. So on this Superstar, you're going to have a standard 8 kilowatt quiet diesel generator. As you can see, I can turn it on outside here. Also a breaker up here. So if your coach is giving you power, getting any your generator. So just good information to have. Now here's all new for us this year. So this is where we're looking at our Victron inverters. These are two 3,000 watt inverters with 640 amp hours of battery. You could actually opt in for a third battery, or I guess a second, that's an extra 320 for 960 amp hours of service. But this dedicated second inverter is what's giving you the ability to run this coach going down the road without having, you can run your air conditioning without having that battery on. So that is dedicated solely towards air conditioning. It doesn't run anything else. And then here is, again, we've gone to our new equalizer leveling system. That's our hydraulic pump for the equalizer leveling system. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the difference maker. This has got an 8-gallon reservoir for hydronic heat. Anyone who's running an AquaHot at 450D is going to be close, but not as strong as your dual loop Chinook. But this blows the doors off of a 250 AquaHot unit. So very important to understand. Again, 3 filaments giving you all of the heat connectivity that you need. You've got a surge protector up here in the front, cable access. Your power cord, of course, is on a power reel. You know we're peasant class in our Superstar. We've got to push the button down here. It's not up here on the door like it would be for the Essex, but you know what? It still beats the dickens out of having to undo it. I wonder if I've got my keys right here. Let's take a look, Jody. Do we have them? Oh, we do. Oh, how about a nice place to be able to see the heated seat? This is the tilt for your chair. You got your air ride up here. So very nice adjustable seats. But the reason I wanted to have the key is because you've got two keys on this coach. You've got this key, which is for the gas door, and then you have this other key right here, which looks exactly the same, which is for the baggage doors. So if you don't bring the gas door key and you need fuel, you're kind of hosed. So don't take them off, keep them together. This is a 50-gallon saddle tank. There's two of these, 100-gallon fuel capacity, a whopping 6 gallons of DEF. People are like, oh my God, that's not a lot of DEF. You don't need a lot of DEF, you guys. And not only do you not need a lot of DEF, to be honest with you, DEF goes bad. So not having a lot of DEF is fine. You got more than enough. And of course, it's very nicely and conveniently located next to the driver's door, which is usually where you'll find it anyway. And most importantly, you've got dual fill tanks, so you can fill up your 100 gallons of fuel twice as fast. You can do one at a time. If you do, it's going to take a really long time. This is all wired for your Cobra walkie-talkie system. You no longer need to put that rear view monitor where I have been putting it on these Plus chassis for so long, because you've got that split screen for navigation. This is stock number 5N250683. Again, 5N250683. Write that down for reference number. It's going to be the only way to pull this coach up pretty soon. This unit was snagged before she even hit the lot. If you want to catch one coming in, give me a call. Let me know what I can do to help you get on the road and camping. My name is Katie O'Neill. I'm at 303-562-8659. I'm coming to you live from very warm today in sunny Frederick, Colorado, and I'd love to get you out on the road and camping.